talking to Kyle about game plan changes and subtle changes to defenses and offenses and teaching it on the fly. How hard is it with a bunch of young kids?
Well, it is, and again, you're going to have some mistakes made because they hear one thing and you're saying another, and they just haven't been in that situation where a guy like Kyle, guy like even CJ has been in those situations numerous times, so he understands. For young players, whether it's even Freddie is still young in this league, Pascal is still young in this league, so those guys haven't had the reps and seen it enough to really recognize it, and they will. They're quick learners. OG's a quick learner, but again, you're going to see him make mistakes defensively, get burnt. But he is a quick learner, and he and I watch film every day and see the situations, and right after it's over with, he knows the mistakes he's made before even the next time comes around.
Do you and your staff make the changes game to game simpler because they're younger players?
But yeah, it's pretty simple. It has to be, and again, now even with Lorenzo coming up and Alfonso coming up, but again, there's changes made during the game that you make that may not be simple. What we try to do is we have those changes ready to go, but I think if you throw a lot of stuff at players in practice, whether it's new plays, new schemes, then their heads really spin. So you have a better chance of getting it in during the game more so than you do practicing 2 or 3 schemes or whatever it is. So you try to keep it simple going in and then make your adjustments.
And the film stuff you do with OG and Rex would do with whoever is all your principles or the changes in the game?
No, we just our principles first. You got to get the principles first, the basics first, and then you go to the changes or adjustments that you're going to make. And again, you can't go crazy, and that's one good thing about what we're doing. We try not to have 15 different things going, whether it's changes or whatever, because a lot of times I found out, Doug, I'm doing this a long time, usually it's from effort or lack of focus more so than being confused by a change. And then you don't know if the scheme is going to work unless you do it with effort, with force the first time. So let's try to see if we can handle the first scheme with effort, focus, 5 guys locked in, and then we'll change it. Or if we can't get it done, then we'll change personnel.
Coach, nothing quite prepares you to play more than playing. And do you think the rotation being 12 deep has prepared you more to deal with these rash of injuries? Because now guys are coming in, having played more minutes and just sitting there.
It has, Jay, because, again, we have guys that are equal at a lot of positions that are not really head and shoulder above. So you could put Lucas in, he's going to get some stuff done. You could put Yak in, he's going to get some stuff done. 6 one way, half dozen another. They have strengths and weaknesses. So, both those guys you can go in. So it's not a matter of rotation, it's a matter of what strength a guy has that we can use that night. But again, playing a number of guys has helped us, especially with the injuries. And Lorenzo Brown and Alfonso was with us in training camp. I think the 2-way program is really big. Just like when we sent guys down to 905 last year to play and get conditioning, they were ready when they came back conditioning-wise. So the rotation has been good to us. It's going to be good to us. It's allowed us to keep Kyle and DeMar's minutes down. I think Kyle had 1 big minute game at the Houston game, I think it was, all year. So it's allowed us to really maintain his minutes and maintain DeMar's minutes, and there's nobody really playing huge minutes. Now, we're going to have the right to extend those minutes if we need Kyle Lowry or if we need DeMar DeRozan in a game, but we don't want to make it a habit.
When you saw how tough the early schedule was when the schedule came out, is it safe to say you would have been happy to be 10-5 at this point, considering it's like one of the 3 hardest schedules? So
yeah, no question. We're again, you get upset when you see some situations. I think Doug pointed out the other night we lost some close games that put ourselves in a position to win. But I would say if you say you're going to go into Golden State, put yourself in position to win, I think 29 teams would sign up for that. But we're not in it to be close. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So, but again, we want to put ourselves in position to win. And now with the experience, learning how to win in those situations, will help us tremendously down the stretch. Again, everybody sees the last second shot, but they don't see maybe the turnover here, the turnover there, the missed rotation here, and then it makes it look like the last second shot won or lost the game for you, and that's not usually the case. So we're getting there. A lot of these guys, as Doug pointed out, hasn't been in close game situation in the NBA, and believe me, it's a different game the last 2 minutes of the game as far as the physicality, the thought process, the speed where you have to process things ramps up, and as a young kid, it's a lot to absorb. And so, but these close games against these good teams are going to play great dividends for us, pay down the road.
I know it's a make or miss league and all that kind of stuff, but what happens defensively to hold a team to 80-some points versus some of the shootouts you get into, you know, on the road? Or
well, some of it, Jay, is team's philosophy. I don't know if New York has the same philosophy as Houston, same philosophy as the Pelicans. So I think you know, again, as a team, we have to be ready to dance to whatever. I mean, if it's, you know, it's a slow game, we got to be able to slug it out. If it's a fast game, I think we have the team to be able to play up and down. And that's what we got to do, because I think a lot of the playoff games are going to be slugfest. A lot of the good teams are going to slow you down or try to make you play their tempo. So we've got to be able to adjust and at the same time try to put our will on the game, which is want to run, push the pace, you know, get as many possessions as possible. So I think that's what New York wants, that slow pace. Now tomorrow afternoon is going to be a different affair where it's going to be an up and down. It's going to be a more fast-paced game. Again, we got to be prepared to play that way offensively and defensively.
Are you happy with some of the guys defensively on some of the other teams' big names like Porzingis? You had Brown fronting Porzingis on a switch last night. I feel like you guys are doing a pretty good job on some of the other teams' big names.
Well, not you know. Again, you don't really stop those guys. You know, Harden, I thought we did a good job, and how many points he still had. You know, so you try to slow him down, break the rhythm. In the NBA, it's very difficult to say a one-on-one matchup is to depend on that to win. I think you try to slow him down, break the rhythm, not let them get the shots they want to get, whether it's a three-pointer limb, you want to take a non-paint two. Try to do some things like that to slow them down. And you know, we've done a decent job, but you know, there's a lot of mistakes being made that we got to make sure we are continuing to improve. You know, just because you win the game doesn't mean you're not making a lot of mistakes, and we can't fall into that, be seduced into, oh, we're okay. No, you know, last night's game there was a lot of mistakes made. The game before that, so we got to make sure we're getting better with limited practice time.